I'm packing a lovely order for a chinchilla today, so I thought I'd use this as an opportunity just to express a little bit about the forages and feeding, and this is from experience with chinchilla owners, which is why I thought it'd be a good thing just to do an informational video on and just explain. So with the on the website, obviously I have a chinchilla dedicated section. Everything on that page is absolutely suitable for chinchillas based on feeding instructions, so how often and how much that forage or treat should be given to that chinchilla. And this varies from animal to animal, and this is heavily designed and advised around ratios that are found within the forages and the ingredients within. So for example, you might have one forage that says for a guinea pig, give the guinea pig that a handful every day. That's absolutely fine, because everything in the ratios in that forage are absolutely suitable for that guinea pig to have daily in a handful amount. However, the same forage for a chinchilla might say a pinch like once every 2 weeks. So that's a massive difference in feeding instructions for the same forage. So this is why I always express, and I've explained this to the lovely lady whose order this is, check the website and look at the feeding instructions, especially at the moment, because unfortunately I haven't got the feeding instructions on the packs at the moment. I will be putting them back on, but we've just had issues with labels at the moment, so I haven't been able to put them on. So it's important to go on the website and look at the feeding instructions for that product, for that animal. Now the reason I say this, like I said, I've actually had experience with this with a customer with a chinchilla, where the general consensus over in sort of chinchilla expert areas is don't give chinchillas fruit, for example, fruit or veg, and this is totally right. You shouldn't be giving them fruit and veg as a treat without knowing what you're doing, because it will, like, and when I say without knowing what you're doing, I mean the exact amounts and how often that should be given. And a lot of people overfeed their chinchillas, unfortunately, fruits and veggies, and it leads to GI, and unfortunately that can lead to sort of the death of the chinchilla, which is obviously not what we want, and definitely not what I want. Everything I do here is built on the rescue, and obviously being a rescue, it means that the love, passion, natural behaviours, natural instincts, natural foods is really, really important with what I do. And the best way I can put it is there are chinchilla forages that contain fruit. Now this is why, because that fruit in that forage is going to be a low percentage. It's going to be a really, really low percentage, and then feeding instructions for that chinchilla is going to be very specific for the specific amount of fruit and veg that is in that forage that is safe for that chinchilla to consume, and how often to consume it, as not to cause any issues like that like GI and that. And this is where a lot of misinformation around, particularly on the internet, comes into play, because of the negative stories you hear about animals and sort of their diets and feeding. It's very easy to assume, or just to advise, don't do it. And then this information then gets passed on, just don't do it, don't do it. And that information gets passed on, don't do it, don't do it. And then you end up with this whole network of people that think, oh no, it's bad for them, don't do it. But I want to assure everyone that the forages that I sell are scientifically researched Every ingredient is research, based on research. It's based on research of the individual animals, and the percentages of ingredients in the forages, again, is done with science, and it is all double checked. And if it is safe for an animal, I then look specifically, again science backed, to see how much, how often that animal can eat these things, and then I take into consideration the whole forage, and then those feeding instructions are developed, and it is so important, and it is really, really, really necessary. But this is why I stress so much, read the feeding instructions, because they are scientifically based, they are specific to the animal, and they are what is going to keep the animal safe, like not overfed, and it's going to give that animal the most benefit from that forage as well. Because overfeeding a forage, and this isn't just chinchillas, for any animal, overfeeding a forage can cause issues, whether it's weight gain or like with the chinchilla, GI or anything like that. And obviously I look at the nutritional values of those forages and treats, and I also look at the nutritional benefits, in what ratios are more beneficial to each animal, and so forth and so forth. So it's really important, feed it and speak to me. If you're unsure about any of the ingredients, speak to me. I also want to make a point as well that I completely understand as well, and this come into play with my personal experience on it as well, is that I totally understand, and I think this myself with my own animals, like the ones that are actual pets. Like, I have specific beliefs, a specific I built sort of a image of what I want for my pet, and sort of based on my belief system from the research and experiences and speaking to people with experiences, and that is unique to me. I would never force that on anyone else, and I wouldn't expect anyone else to force that onto their point of views and their beliefs for their pets onto me either. We do what we think is best for our pet, and that is absolutely okay and amazing. And so I totally understand, like with this personal experience that I had with a chinchilla customer, if she wasn't completely content giving a mix that contained fruit and veg to a chinchilla based on her own experiences, which she did explain, and I can totally understand why she wouldn't want to give her chinchillas a forage with fruit and veg in. That is absolutely fine. She doesn't have to. But I say all of this because I want to reassure you that just because you have a certain belief system in place for your pet, based on your own research, your own experiences and all of that, it doesn't mean that what I'm selling is bad at all. It is heavily researched, and it is specific to every animal, and it is researched scientifically and through experience. I speak to experts with certain animals as well, and I gain knowledge, and I can't emphasize enough that everything is heavily researched. I've got studies in certain animals. I've got experience for over a decade in animal care and rescue work, and so that experience also goes into the forages and the treats. And I want to reassure you that it is okay for you not to agree and not be happy with my products. That's absolutely fine. But I would never ever ever make any forages or treats that are not suitable for an animal. It comes from a place of love, a place of hard work, a place of research, and it is really, everything is absolutely 100% safe when you read the feeding instructions.